Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, yes. Listening to the outgoing IEBC commissioners, Gulliye and Molu, I still don't understand how the 7 Supreme Court justices were not able to decipher the political implications of the infighting that was at IEBC long even before the elections. Because yesterday, the 2 IEBC commissioners made some remarks insinuating that even long before the elections, the commission was divided and there was a team within the commission that had already made up their minds that one wing of the political divide was a no-go zone. In this video, just as we did in our earlier video, I want us to listen to Gulliye and Molu once more, for their remarks are going to form the basis of our analysis in relation to the verdict that came from the Supreme Court. Before doing that, if you are watching us but you have not yet subscribe, give this video a like. Listen to this.
You also recall the clean slate slogan in the BBI, clean slate meaning clearing the entire IEBC commission. Of course, it didn't come to pass. You recall the Bomas drama, and I wish to thank the Bomas choir. Even when objects were flying left, right, center, some of those objects actually injured us physically. The choir kept on singing. I wish to thank them for that. After the Bomas announcement of the results, I recall going into Siberia in my own country, together with Commissioner Molu and CEO Marjan. We went into hiding. We had to put off our phones, leave them in Bomas, send away our security, and we rode in Anoa to a known location. Our only contact to Kenya and the world was the television, just to check whether you were killing each other or you were celebrating. And after 3 days of hiding, we realized Kenyans had moved on. And we said we can no longer hide.
All protocols observed. Good afternoon. I want to associate myself with the comments made by my colleague, Professor Gulliye. I also thank God that we have made it to the end of our 6-year journey, where for the entire period, removal from office has always been hanging on our head. During our tenure, I think our challenges have been mentioned by my colleague. I don't have to repeat it. I was also number 2 in the irreducible minimum, but they have only managed to reduce the number of the commissioners, but we remain.
Yes. Gulliye is confirming that they were not happy with BBI. And that goes on to confirm that his team, Gulliye Molu and Wafula Chebukati and IEB Secretariat, already they might have made up their minds that Raila Uhuru axis was a no-go zone. In fact, I'm seeing a team that were just waiting for an opportune moment to revenge against Raila and against Uhuru Kenyatta, for the 2 leaders attempted to do away with them through BBI. So I'm seeing a team that was deliberately out to revenge. And Gulliye is just making that clear from the way he's talking. And then Boya Molu also just confirms that instead of Uhuru and Raila doing away with them, they did away with their team. I think he means maybe the Cherera Four. So I just don't understand how the 7 Supreme Court justices were not able to establish that even long before the elections, already there was a split at IEBC. Already there was a split. It appears there was a team that was out to revenge. And now, could that have affected the presidential elections? Considering that maybe assuming the election was that close, could it not have been very possible for this Chebukati, Gulliye, and even Boya Molu, together with the secretariat, to influence the elections in favor of a candidate they felt friendly to them? In this video, I want us to dig deep into this analysis to see why I strongly believe the Supreme Court failed the test. The Supreme Court failed the test. Let's dig deep. Yes, the Supreme Court failed the test. They were not able to establish that IEBC as a commission was split in the middle. One faction of the commission had made up its mind that one wing of the political divide was a no-go zone, and they were out to revenge against that wing of the political divide. And just as Gulliye has made it very clear that Uhuru and Raila wanted to remove them or do away with them through BBI, which never materialized, I'm seeing a bitter Gulliye, a bitter Boya Molu and Chebukati and the secretariat who are very bitter with Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta for having attempted to remove them through BBI. So this was a team that was just waiting for an opportune moment to revenge against Raila and against Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. The Supreme Court was not able to establish the implication, the political implication of that. I believe the Supreme Court failed there. And also listening to Gulliye, Gulliye is trying to say that they were in hiding. And I'm seeing a Gulliye who maybe is just also lying to Kenyans. They might have been hiding because they knew they made some mistakes. There is something wrong they did. Because why were they hiding if they did the right thing? I believe that this is a team that was hiding because of the fears of the blunders they had committed. And honestly, I believe that if Uhuru Kenyatta's government wanted these people, or rather wanted to deal with these people, they could have not hide away from the government. The mere fact that they successfully were able to hide from the government confirms that Uhuru's government had no business with them. In fact, I'm seeing Uhuru's government that really never interfered with the elections. There is just a team that deliberately messed up the elections. That's also something I'm seeing. And it's unfortunate that all the 7 Supreme Court justices were also not able to understand that. In fact, even after the Cherera Four had walked out, and just as I've been saying in my previous videos, that was enough for the Supreme Court to nullify the elections. Because it's clear a majority of the commissioners who conducted the election were disputing the results of the elections. And now that it's coming out that Chebukati, Gulliye and Boya Molu and the secretariat were against the Raila Uhuru team, and now that maybe the election was close, assuming it was close, it's very highly, or rather it's possible, that Chebukati's team, just as I've stated, could have easily influenced the elections in favor of a candidate they deemed friendly. And that's exactly what might have happened. And also from those remarks by Gulliye and Boya Molu, I'm seeing a very incompetent Supreme Court in Kenya. And this is why, as I talk, already you are seeing a perception has been created that Ruto's government has muzzled the judiciary. And I believe this is so because of the weaknesses that emanated from the highest court in the land. The highest court in the land allowed itself to be compromised. And that's why, as I talk, a good majority of Kenyans do not have faith and trust in the Supreme Court. And this is why I still beg Martha Koome and her bench that it's not late. The best thing they can do to Kenyans is for the entire bench to resign. They are actually doing Kenyans more injustice by them still hanging on to office. While it's very clear they did a very shoddy job during the August presidential election petition. So the best thing this Supreme Court Justice can do is for them to actually resign. And also, even before I conclude, looking at Chebukati and the way they conducted the elections, these are things that I know Kenyans will still be discussing in so many years to come. The way they conducted the elections, it was even clear before the elections that William Ruto and IBC, the Chebukati wing, were reading from the same page. It was very evident even before the elections. But I still don't understand that with all those glaring evidences, the Supreme Court was still able to uphold William Ruto's election. That only means, as I conclude, that already the entire judiciary, or rather the Supreme Court, the IBC, they were in this plot even long before the elections. So if every part, or rather each team, was just to do its job and then pass it over to the next team to sanitize it. So just as Babu Wino has been saying, it might have been a long political con. That's what I'm seeing here. The Supreme Court already, they had a predetermined verdict. IBC had a predetermined verdict. And already they had skimmed it from IBC to the Supreme Court that you will do this and then we do this. And that's what actually did happen. Because in an election like this, I just don't understand how all the 7 Supreme Court justices could come with a unanimous verdict. It's not just adding up, ladies and gentlemen. Let me stop it there for now. Just as I did indicate when you were starting, if you have not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe, give this video a like. If you want to support our forum, contact me through my number. I've pinned the number on the comment section. Let's meet in our next analysis. Thank you.